Hello adventurers and welcome to the club. Yeah, yesterday's dinner consisted of two things. A can of fish with a pull tab and this can of soup. And it's from the big brand, and that means they were too greedy to pay to use the pull tab patent. And they do this hobo style just with a knife and basic tools. Maybe I use the tin snips. And yes, you dull down your blade doing this, but I don't care, I can sharpen it. That's what a knife sharpener is there for. Yeah. Let's put one here for the beginning. And I use this technique a lot. You can also use scissors to do the same thing, as I did with my lantern build. So, yeah, looks a bit rough now, but what we do now is we go along with something. You can use actually anything. You just bend the sharp corners inwards a bit, so you don't cut yourself too easy on it. You can even use your finger if you dare to do so. And now we just go in with the pliers and push them in like this. Nice and flat. So now let's try to remove the label. And by the way, if you're out there and doing this in nature, keep the label. This is great tinder. Oh no, I mentioned Tinder. Now I will get those dating ads again for the next half year. Not this Tinder algorithm. No, fire starting Tinder. And here we got beans. Black beans. They're good. They are not really black. They're just really dark red. Yeah. False advertisement here. Oh, there we go. Now we got to take the bottom out of this can, which by the way is a fully stamped can. It's rare to see this kind of construction. Normally they are riveted in here. Anyways, we will take it apart. We will just make a hole about here. Be careful not to cut yourself when you do this. It helps to have it on a surface that doesn't slip. Do it where it's supposed to be done and just get a hole in it. Just like this. Yeah, we're doing a bit of a rough job here, but this is a one-day build. I want to use this today out in the woods, if the rain doesn't get much bigger. See? We have removed the can. And by the way, this is also a technique to open a can. Just twist it off. And there we go. Now we have to make a little hole here. You want to make sure that the position of the hole is here, where your little bevel is, just here. You can mark it or whatever, but I'm just punching a hole into it. And try to be in the middle of this can, okay? So once you have a big enough hole stamped into it, you can go in it with your tin snips. Just press them in and kind of cut a little circle out. This is a part that doesn't need to be pretty, it will never be seen again. can use fancy tools, but like I said in a previous video, I like to keep my DIYs so that everyone can do it. Yeah, we make it a bit bigger and then I'll show you the next step. So, now the hole is big enough, it's in the right position. And this will be on top of here as a chimney. So what we have to do now is, in order to make it fit better, we have to cut a little circle out of here to mimic the shape of the can. So we take a rough measurement using the can, just about this, and then we cut a little slit into it. One on this side, and one on the other. Try to make it the same length. 1, 2, 3 of those things here. Directly on the opposite side. One here, one there. Perfect. Now we cut out a bit of a circle here to fit it so it fits the shape of this can. Just like this, but we let the inner top stand. We just cut away here and here. First half moon gone. Second half moon gone. This is how it's supposed to look like. And we do the same thing now on the other side. If you want to really be precise, you take the first half moon you cut out and use it as a template for the second and third one. So this is how it is supposed to look. And now we will put it on top of here, and those tabs here will slot in some cutouts we do on the can, which we have to do now. So mark it right and then do the cuts in the can. So and one trick is to first do this hole. I just did it with an X-Acto knife. Be careful, they can break, so don't cut yourself. It's best to wear some thick leather gloves if you are uncertain of the dangers of sharp metals. And make the first one the way you like it most, and then cut the second one. So the first tab must really good be a fitting. Let's make this a bit bigger. Does it fit? And you see, this is all thin metal. You can easily cut it with a knife. Make it a little bit around, figure, and this one here. And you see, it slots in nicely. And now we know where to put our second tab. Just along here. You can mark it with a little scratch. Pull this back out, memorize the side, and then we cut along our little scratch here that we can barely see. Here it starts, and just hold the can, and be careful never to have your fingers somewhere where they can be hit with the live slips, because it can slip. And if it slips, it snips. And if it snips, blood will flow. And yeah, obviously, if you work with thin metal like this, you may cut yourself one day, or have one of those nasty little pokey things stick into your finger. This can happen, but you won't die from it. It makes you stronger. Nice. Okay, this side closes a bit better. So let's just take this side for front. You see? There we go now. I like this. So the next step is quite easy. You go in there, make sure not to cut yourself, and you fold those newly formed tabs simply over. And this will make this one unit. And don't care about if you haven't cut the angle absolutely precisely. It is a Hobo stove and the draft will flow. So this is how it looks so far. But for the moment it's not quite stable, and this is where the second part of my dinner comes into play. We will attach it to it like this. So I made 2 slits here and 2 slits there. And now I have to make 2 cuts on the same part of the can. Let's take a pen to mark it. Develop this thing. Should be able to pull the pen apart with only one finger, so I will just mark the space where it's supposed to sit. And we do the same thing later on the other side. So now we cut this into pieces. First of all, I'm cutting away the part here with this, trying to do it as smoothly as possible. Doesn't really matter, but I just like to do a good job on things. That's why my videos are longer than usual. So now I do a cut directly in the middle of it. Try to be as precise as possible, because this is a part that will be seen. And it is a part that has a function. So we have to do a good job here. Perfect. And those are the pieces that will later connect the bottom with the top side. And we will do a simple thing. We will cut out pieces and leave those slots stand here. I'll show you. So. Like this. Oh, das when you don't need to cut, we'll just take it and bend it inwards. That's easier, and it doesn't leave a sharp pointy piece of metal standing. There we go. This will slot in. It looks like a pig. It will slot in here and then connect it up here. So. See how this works? And obviously we have to bend them then up. This side has to be bent up, and the part that sticks in has to be bent up as well. So it is on here, nice and tight. And I recommend you to first fasten them on both sides below and then attach and cut the upper part. And if you have done anything right, you ended up with something like this. And there we can slot our oven in. We do the same thing, we cut those slits and we put them in and bend them over. I'll show you how it looks when it's finished. And you don't have to have it here and guess the marking, you just slide it over. And then you mark it where you like it. We got one here, we got one here, we got one here, we got one here. You cut those and do the same thing on the different and the other side. So, first side is slotted in, and now we can draw on where we want the second side to be cut. If you mark and cut them before you have slotted one side in, you're most likely ending up with something not really fitting. So, and it's slotted in here. Next step is simple. We do what we have done so many times on this project. We just take the tab and fold it over. If you don't want to put your hand inside it, you just take a object and fold it over. And if you have ever to take it apart for maintenance or whatever, it's just a piece of metal. You can bend it a few times before it breaks. And now this sits here on quite solid. You have a few jagged edges here and there, but overall it's not a thing where you will immediately cut yourself if you use it. Yeah. There it is. Isn't it cute? And this can on bottom here, if you fill it up with concrete or with sand or something, you have something that won't burn a surface too easy. You can also put some glass wool in it. That's the best insulation you can have here to really get the heat, insulate the heat. You could use soft asbestos, but you should not use soft asbestos. Yeah. So let me give you a little pan around of the area I'm in. It's a nice little meadow, unused area of a park. And here I brought a little big piece of concrete because fire safety. And here with the bicycle, and we will now test the Hobo stove. Let's put it right here. Yeah, that's great. So, with the stove I brought some things. Top of here, that's some wet tinder soaked in chemicals. The paper from the can. Obviously, another thing I have always in my pocket, my lighter. And a few branches of semi-dry wood, which I will now stuff into here. So, now let's start this stove. It's not the best wood I have here for it, but this should do, theoretically. Yep, it's burning. Yeah, it is burning. And obviously this is not a cooking stove, but you could do a cross beam across here and put a cup of or something on here. But yeah, It is working. The wood is very wet, so a bit damp, but it is having a good draft. Another little tip for you, this field here is completely filled with lavender. And if you're out camping and the bugs are driving you crazy, just put a handful of those into your fire. They will hate it. Yeah, it is working great. The draft is so strong it really catches. Very easy. And this wood here is not really dry. As you see in the smoke, the wood is really wet. It rained for days. So, I will put this away again. Just here in the bushes for the next time I need to use it. So. Oh, nice. Let's do whatever gentleman does. Wipe it on your pants.